We have new buying pressure arriving for XRP with 20 ETF filings since 2024, new digital asset treasury companies, and expanding XRP DeFi. And here's what folks need to understand is not only is this new inflows into XRP, which will push up the price, but we are going to sustain much higher prices for XRP because folks are going to be locking away this capital in XRP investments in ETFs, digital asset treasuries, locking up XRP to go earn yield on Flare or other yield opportunities. And that's all XRP that can't be used for liquidity. So you have a lot of drivers and catalysts coming for XRP. They're going to drive the price higher. But then the nature of these purchases and allocations actually leads to more XRP being locked up. Let's get right to it. Now, I'm going to explain why the market's down, why we could continue seeing downside pressure, why things are bad out here, a little bit of blood in the streets. And if you wanted to skip to straight XRP hopium, maybe you could skip about 4 or 5 minutes ahead if you don't want to understand the fundamentals. But I think it's very important for those of you guys here, and many of you guys tune into my show because we break this down, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this is why we have so much conviction in our investments, because we know they are the answer to the debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. Now, this is the governor of the Bank of England, Andrew Bailey, has said that recent events in the U.S. private credit markets have worrying echoes of the subprime mortgage crisis in 2008. What's he talking about? Subprime lender Primaland enters bankruptcy after bond default. Just like Jamie Dimon says, the cockroaches don't come in one or two. We're looking at a lot more. And this is why I retweeted and I said, take cover, stay liquid. And even if the private credit crisis doesn't end up being too systemic, it can still cause big volatility in our markets, more to come. And this would be downside pressure on digital assets and assets across the board in our markets. So be prepared, stay liquid, have your orders placed so that you can buy the dip. And I'll show you the XRP chart at the end. This is the percentage of subprime auto borrowers who are 60 days late on their car payments, hitting an all-time high of 6.4%. This is not over. This is far from finished. And you need to understand counterparty risk, whether it's the centralized exchange that you're using, any other service providers in this space, who are you invested with, who are you banking with, are you still going to have a job? I mean, understand all of the risks and exposures that you have right now when it comes to your income and when it comes to your investments, because I'm really worried about 401ks and pension funds. They're going to be tied up in these risky loans that are getting unwound. The U.S. leveraged loan market, now worth around $2 trillion, is showing early signs of stress. This is the worst part, folks. This wasn't degens gambling over here. This is retirement accounts, 401ks, and pension funds that were used as exit liquidity for toxic loans and debt in private credit and private equity. Investors and financial experts are starting to worry. Major defaults and growing debt exposure are raising alarms about potential risks for the broader economy. These defaults are not isolated. Even smaller subprime lenders have failed, hinting at potential systemic risks. For investors holding these loans, it means increased uncertainty and potential losses. Corporate bankruptcies also highlight the fragile nature of credit markets. When one major player fails, it often sets off a chain reaction. We could say ripple effects. $2 trillion warning. Cracks are starting to show in the leveraged loan market. Private equity wants your 401k and pensions. See, they opened all this up, and a lot of it provides good opportunity. I love private equity, private credit. There's money to be made, right? But everybody was lending money out to just anybody willy-nilly. And this is why I say, is it different from the great financial crisis of 2008? Yes, it's much worse. It's not just subprime borrowers on mortgages and homes. It's subprime borrowers on everything. Buy now, pay later for your groceries, for your Chipotle burrito. Now, let me be very, very clear. It's an ugly situation. The fact that people are having to use buy now, pay later credit cards just to feed themselves. Now, I like to use my Gemini card so I can earn my 3% back in XRP on dining and eating out, right? But, we got the money to pay off the credit card every month. We're working our butts off and we are staying liquid. I've stacked up cash because we know we're going through uncertain times. And so it's very unfortunate that we're in a situation where folks are having to use buy now, pay later to pay for their everyday expenses, groceries, etc. The problem is starting to show here, and the really unfortunate part is that some fund managers, some financial advisors brought 401ks and pension money into backing and investing in these credit markets. This is a multi-trillion-dollar ticking time bomb, and it's why I say, the Japan carry trade, that's just one part of the global margin call that is now starting to show itself. Now, instead of having your 401k exposed in some of these toxic derivatives and debt markets, maybe it's time to roll over that 401k into a crypto IRA with our partner, iTrust Capital. That's right, folks. This is why I was so happy to get them tapped in as a community resource. You can invest your traditional Roth or SEP IRA. You can roll over the 401k into an IRA to get exposure today. So while they're telling you to stay away from crypto, let's get you into private credit, private lending, this trillion-dollar ticking time bomb. Instead of doing that, maybe you could get exposure to some of the best assets that have performed well with this debasement trade that we know is not done, fundamentals, and a lot of utility behind these assets, and the ETFs are about to go live, and that's when Wall Street's going to say it's safe. Don't wait for Wall Street to tell you it's safe. Don't wait for your financial advisor to help you out. Make the move today, right? Roll over the 401k today to a crypto IRA with our partner, iTrust Capital. And then you can also take advantage of their premium custody account as well. Now, this is institutional grade custody, 1% on the transaction fee. And when you guys fund your account, make sure you use my promo code RECTOR9 to get that $100 funding bonus, okay? Now, let's continue on here. We got great news coming in on Ripple and XRP. 24 million ROUSD minted at the ROUSD Treasury. ROUSD continues to grow. We saw the partnership with Braille, XYZ, where they're going to allow anybody, any institution to come tokenize US dollar-backed stablecoins on the XRP ledger in minutes, settle in ROUSD, just more utility for ROUSD and the XRP ledger, and by extension, the native asset of the ledger, which is XRP. All of this is bringing and adding value to XRP. Now, why did I title it New Buying Pressure for XRP? The market's going down today, Zach. How could you say that? This is clickbait. I'm upset with you. Well, you can be upset with me all you want, but there's no reason to be upset about the fundamentals because they just continue to get better. Here's the data. You have now 11 XRP treasury companies, and we're talking about billions of inflows into XRP just from this alone. Evernorth, the new one, Ripple backed, and they're going to be bringing in $1 billion of inflows into XRP, at least, maybe more. Trident at 500 million, Weebus at 300 million, Vivo Power at 121 million, Wellgistics at 50 million, Hyperscale at 10 million, Everything Blockchain at 10 million. Gummy is going to be joining the party here. They've been added to the Evernorth investment as well. Gummy, the gaming company out of Japan. Absolutely. Worksport, 5 million. And BC Bud, 250,000. Digital Comms, 225,000. This is just the start. Now, when you look into the details on this Evernorth deal, Ripple and Larson's 350 million XRP are separate from the $1 billion cash raised to buy XRP. So all these people are saying, Ripple's just going to hand over the escrow. Chris Larson's handing over 50 million XRP. This isn't going to have any impact on price. This isn't going to lead to any new XRP getting locked up. Wrong. And this is why it's important to read the details, not just the XRP FUD clickbait. Ripple and Larson's 350 million XRP are separate from the billion cash that's going to be raised to buy XRP through Evernorth. 200 million cash from SBI, 200 million optional from Ripple, 600 million from the private investment and private equity public investors make up the 1 billion. So that's going to be 600 million from that, which will be used to purchase XRP within 10 days after the funds are received. So we're talking about 600 million to $1 billion of inflows into XRP within 10 days after this goes live. Now, this is set to go live in Q1 of 2026. But between the ETFs, which will go live here any day, as soon as this government shutdown ends and the SEC can sign off, those ETFs will go live. And between now and the end of the year, these digital asset treasury companies are going to be adding this XRP to their balance sheet. And this is why I say the speculation has ended. It's just now data. It's confirmation that we have hundreds of millions and billions of inflows coming into XRP between now and the end of the year. Maybe sooner, maybe faster, in 10 days, maybe a few days. It's coming though. The billions of inflows are coming 100%. I am not speculating on this. You are not speculating on this. You can tell your friends, family, and loved ones that you care about that billions of inflows are coming into XRP. It's not going to be a single digit asset anymore. It's an incredible buying opportunity. Now, in the month of November 2024, I have it right here on my notepad. And I talked about this on last night's live show. 118 million of inflows in the month of November 2024. Over a 1 month period, 118 million of inflows. Not 200, 600 million, not a billion, 118 million. That led to XRP's market cap growing by 105 billion. That's an 883x monthly multiplier for XRP. So when you see these digital asset treasury companies forming, and just one, Evernorth, is talking about a billion of inflows into XRP. When you combine that with 20 XRP ETFs, which have been filed since 2024. Now, please note, not all of these are spot XRP ETFs. Some of them are leveraged futures ETFs. Those are not going to be backed by XRP. It's the spot ETFs, which will be backed by XRP. That's what's going to drive the supply shock. That's what's going to bring in billions of inflows through those spot ETFs to XRP directly. On top of the basket ETFs, which there are 10 basket ETFs that have been filed, and most of those do include XRP. In fact, the ProShares CoinDesk Top 20 ETF that was announced yesterday, 17% of that ETF is going to be XRP. This is all new buying pressure for XRP that is guaranteed to come. When does the government shutdown end? We don't know. Did my timeline for $5 to $7 XRP in October get blown up? Yes. Was I wrong? Yes. If it makes you upset, smash the thumbs down. That's what it's there for. Leave a comment down below and tell me how you really feel. But I'm here to tell you, this isn't about feelings. This is about facts. This is about data. This is about billions of inflows that lead to a double-digit XRP price guaranteed. And you want to sell right now? Go ahead. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to stop you. I'm just going to tell you why I am doubling down, why I'm in an XRP long. And I'm getting ready to add to my XRP long again if we want to go touch that order block that already got hit down here at $2.20. We got fib levels right here back down to the 382. We tapped that yesterday. This is today. We're on the hourly chart zoomed in. So we're back down here to 236 here today. That's a fib level of support. And this is how I play the game. I find fib levels of support. I find order blocks and I front run them. I told you guys we were going down to 220. If they wanted to smack us up, they did. I told you I had my order at 225. It filled. This is how I play the game. I am not going anywhere besides waiting for this government shutdown to end, letting the inflows start to come in through the digital asset treasuries, through the ETFs. And I didn't even mention, other than to say, the lockups in the DeFi as well too. We don't have time to break that down here, but it's all more XRP buying pressure and inflows. It's more XRP being locked up. And how foolish would it be to be bearish on this asset right now? Could it come down to the downside because of the bigger catalysts, the dominoes starting to fall? Absolutely. And that's just going to present another buying opportunity. Either you're going to take advantage of it if you have money, or we're going to ride this thing out. Some people are going to decide to hit the exits because they don't understand the fundamentals. They don't understand this data. They are distracted. They are in denial of these facts. This is not speculation. This is not clickbait. I wish I could deliver you more hopium that XRP was going to $1,000 this year. It's not. But it's going to much higher prices. And just with conservative numbers, we're talking $20 to $30 in 2026 is my base case. Base case. Could be a lot more. So stay locked in with us. If you appreciate what we're doing, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide, and all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. Thank you and God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.